What's up, everybody? This is RBT coming at you with my Week 8 college football prediction video. Let's get right into it. Got a bunch of stuff to do. So, moving into the Thursday games or Thursday game. Oregon at Arizona State. I'm gonna pick Oregon big only for the reason that I thought Oregon was gonna struggle with Arizona. I thought Arizona was a high-powered attack and was going to score plenty of points on Oregon, and they scored. I think they ended up getting shut out. Actually, I'm pretty sure. Yep, Oregon beat them 49-0. Oregon's just way too much for Arizona State. I mean, Arizona State is a pretty good ball club under first-year head coach Todd Graham. They're sitting at 5-1 right now. They've won 3 straight against Utah, Cal, Colorado, but neither of those teams are on near the caliber team of Oregon. So I'm gonna say Oregon 45, Arizona State 20. I do think they get 20 on them, but it's not gonna be near enough to beat Oregon. Friday's game, Connecticut at Syracuse. Connecticut definitely let me down last week. They lost at Temple in overtime. Syracuse played Rutgers really close and playing at the Dome. I'm going to say Syracuse wins this game really close. I'm going to say 24-21. I think Lyle McCombs in that Connecticut downhill running type attack tests that Syracuse front seven, and I think they scored 21 on Syracuse, but it's not enough to beat Syracuse. I say Ron Nassib and the Syracuse offense puts up 3 too many points for Connecticut to beat Connecticut. So I said 24-21 Syracuse. Saturday games. First game of the day, LSU at Texas A&M. Guys, this is going to be a fun game to watch. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a really close game. I really do, but I think LSU comes out victorious. I say LSU wins this game 26-21 over Texas A&M. Very, very close. Texas A&M's offense is for real. Johnny Manziel is an absolutely amazing quarterback, especially being only a freshman or a redshirt freshman. Absolutely lit up Louisiana Tech. But the reason I don't think they beat LSU is because their defense is just terrible, to put it into one word. They gave up 57 points to Louisiana Tech, even though granted Louisiana Tech has an amazing offense, especially for a mid-major type team. They shouldn't be giving up 57 points in the SEC defense. So I say LSU 26-21. LSU's defense is going to score a few times, I think, and it's going to be tough playing at Kyle Field, but I say 21-26 LSU. Rutgers at Temple. Temple has surprised some people. I mean, they're now, I think, 2 or 3-0 in the Big East, but Rutgers' defense is legitimate, a really good defense. They're with the running game. James Davison, Gary Nova is improving as a quarterback. I think they remain undefeated and beat Temple pretty reasonably. I'm gonna say 30-17 Rutgers. Virginia Tech at Clemson. I think I'm gonna go with the upset here. Virginia Tech, they haven't won less than 10 games in many, many years. I think it's been 5+ years, probably even more than that. Clemson, I'm not entirely sure who they played last week. They're coming off a bye week. So they're coming off a bye week. Their defense is definitely not improved that vastly from last year. I mean, they're 5-1 right now, 4-1, 5-1. Virginia Tech's coming off that comeback win against Duke. They were down 20-0 to Duke in the first quarter, came back, scored 41 straight points, and beat Duke 41-20. Virginia Tech, they're going to be coming in this game, definitely seeking revenge from last year, and I don't know. I think Virginia Tech wins this game. Clemson coming off a bye week, I think it's going to be quite sloppy. Virginia Tech's improving, and I don't think they want to lose again to Clemson, and I think they're going to come ready to play. And I say they beat Clemson 31-27. Won the upset here, so whoa. So yeah, 31-27 Virginia Tech here. Iowa State at Oklahoma State. Iowa State's a pretty decent team. They have a nice defense. Jared Bennett is a pretty good quarterback there at Iowa State. But you got this game playing in Stillwater, and I think Oklahoma State's offense is too much for Iowa State. I think they make it close, but I'm gonna say Oklahoma State 38, Iowa State 31. Purdue at Ohio State. Ohio State really struggled with Indiana last week. Gave up over 40-something points to Indiana. Purdue's going to make it close, but Ohio State I think is too much. I'm going to say, and Purdue's definitely been a disappointing team for me this year. I thought with all the injuries, the teams ineligible for the to go to the championship game in the Big Ten, and with Wisconsin being quite poor this year, I thought Purdue was going to run away with that division, and they definitely did not. But I'm going to go Ohio State 28, Purdue 24. It's going to be a really close ball game, but Ohio State's going to win at the Horseshoe. Minnesota at Wisconsin. Wisconsin shouldn't have a problem with Minnesota. I think they're starting to play a little bit better. Monte Ball's getting his feet underneath them. He had a big game last week against Purdue, over 200-something rushing yards. Broke the record for most touchdowns in a career. He broke the Big Ten record for touchdowns in a career. So I'm gonna go Wisconsin 34, Minnesota 20. Auburn at Vanderbilt. They're terrible. Really, they're 120th in turnover margin. They don't know who their quarterback is. Terrible quarterback play, giving up way too many sacks. They have improved running the ball, but just running the ball and playing terrible defense, terrible quarterback play is not enough to beat Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt can be a dangerous team. They gave Florida, which is now the number 2 team in the country, a tough game. Playing at Vandy, the SEC network of the game. They're going to give Vanderbilt a pretty big win. I'm going to say 34 to 17 Vandy. Wake Forest at Virginia. Got Wake Forest in this game. Virginia's defense is terrible. Virginia lost to Maryland last week. With Maryland's not that great of a team. Wake Forest has disappointed me this year, though. I thought I had Wake Forest as a sleeper team, not to win the ACC, but definitely to surprise some people. They're 1-3 right now. They also have lost to Maryland, so look at Maryland. I thought Maryland was going to be a terrible team this year. I think I said something about that in my recap video, but I'm going to go with Wake Forest in this game. I'm going to say 20, really close. I'm going to say 21-20 Wake Forest. Stanford at Cal. The key factor in this game. Cal, I think, has given up the most sacks in the country. Zach Maynard's been sacked more than anybody else. And Stanford has one of the better front seven in the country, who sacked the quarterback many times in a game. So I'm going to go Stanford pretty big. I'm going to say Stanford 31, Cal 14. Boston College at Georgia Tech. Both teams definitely underperformed this year. But I'm going to say Georgia Tech 27, Boston College 20. South Carolina at Florida. God, this is a tough game to predict right here. It's going to be, I would say if they were playing at South Carolina, I'd give South Carolina the win. But definitely Florida up and rising. Now number 2 team in the country. The Swamp's going to be going crazy. 2:30 game on CBS. It's going to be an insane atmosphere. Florida definitely has momentum, trying to solidify themselves as the best team in the East. I do still think Florida loses a game somewhere in the SEC play, but I don't think it's here. I'm gonna go Florida 27, South Carolina 20. BYU at Notre Dame. I said this over and over again. I really don't know what happened to BYU's defense last week against Oregon State. BYU hadn't given up any more than 20 points a game, or 23 points a game, all season. Then they gave up 42 to Oregon State. I think that was just really a fluke. BYU's defense is better than that. I still believe BYU has a top 10 defense in the country. But Notre Dame, their defense is quite good themselves. And on the flip side, they actually have a decent offense. So I think BYU is going to make it a lot closer than people are going to think it is, and people are going to predict. But still, I think Notre Dame wins this game. I'm going to go 24-14 Notre Dame. South Florida at Louisville. Louisville should have no problem in this game. South Florida and BJ Daniels definitely has been underperforming this year. What is their record set at right now? They're 2-4, 4 straight losses, including losses to Ball State and Temple. Don't know what's going on there in Tampa, but they're not doing too well. Louisville and Teddy Bridgewater definitely been a surprising team this year. And the biggest surprise about the whole Louisville ordeal is that they're really young, and most of the players are going to be back next year, so they'll be even more dangerous next year. But Louisville, I'll go big. I'll say Louisville 42, South Florida 20. Texas Tech at TCU. Texas Tech has a really good defense, really. TCU definitely surprised some people last week. I didn't think they were going to beat Baylor by as much as they did. So they're sitting at 5-1 right now, with their only loss against Iowa State. I'm gonna go. Goodness, Texas Tech made West Virginia look absolutely silly last week, but I'm gonna go Texas Tech. Really close. I'm gonna say 31-30 Texas Tech. TCU will score a little bit on Texas Tech, more than West Virginia did, but I still think Texas Tech is the victory. Nebraska at Northwestern. I'm gonna go Northwestern this game. I think they upset Nebraska. Let's go 27-24. I think most people are gonna be picking Nebraska in this game, but I'm gonna go with Northwestern with the upset, 27-24. And how about that? No Big Ten team is ranked in the top 25 in the BCS poll. That's definitely a crazy number. You got no Big Ten teams, and you got 3 Big East teams. It's crazy. NC State at Maryland. NC State should win this game. Mike Glennon and company should be able to tear apart the Maryland defense. That's what I say, but every time I pick NC State, it seems like they lose. But I'm gonna go NC State. I'm gonna say, let's go 28-17 NC State. Michigan State at Michigan. Michigan State definitely been one of the most underperforming teams in the country. I think they were top 10 maybe, I think, going into the season. Now they're sitting at 4-3, lost to Iowa. Lost to Notre Dame, Iowa, Ohio State. Iowa's not a great team. Who did Iowa lose to? Central Michigan. And they're a decent team. They're always one of those teams that are playing like NFL teams, scoring like all they do is get field goals, it seems like. And they play Michigan State really tough. Game went into overtime. Definitely a surprise. Don't know what just happened to my screen. But Michigan's been playing a lot better lately. I think they're sitting right outside the top 25 in the BCS poll, so I'm going to go Michigan. Zadar Robinson will make a few plays in this game, and they'll beat Michigan State 32-20. Oh, goodness. Colorado at USC. This is going to get really ugly. USC's USC 48, Colorado 14. Alabama at Tennessee. I'm going to go Alabama 38, Tennessee 10. Tennessee, they're definitely the most disappointing team in the SEC to me. After the first game against NC State, I thought Tennessee was the best team in the East. Now, before the season, I think I predicted Tennessee 4th or 5th in the East, and that's what I have them sitting at right now. Alabama's going to be way too much for them. You all know why. I'm making my TTC video here in a second after this video. It's just going to be too much for Tennessee. What did I say? I forget what I said, but I'm going to say Alabama 38, Tennessee 10. I think that's what I said a second ago, but 38-10 Alabama. Kansas State at West Virginia. I don't understand how West Virginia only dropped to 13. I really don't know how, but Kansas State definitely been a surprise this year. Colin Klein would win my Heisman vote right now. Last week I would say Geno Smith would win the Heisman. But this will be a fun game to watch. I mean, a battle of two great quarterbacks. I mean, Geno Smith is still right up there for the Heisman. He didn't really have, a terrible game, but he definitely didn't perform at a level that West Virginia could have won that game. But it doesn't help their defense is absolutely terrible. But with that said, I think Colin Klein, and I don't think Kansas State's defense is gonna be able to stop West Virginia at all. I think it's gonna be a really high scoring game. Kansas State just finds ways to win games, so I'm gonna go Kansas State. I'm gonna go Kansas State 42, West Virginia 40. Kansas at Oklahoma. This will get really ugly in Norman. I'll just go ahead and say Oklahoma 44, Kansas 17. Georgia at Kentucky. Georgia coming off a bye week, trying to rebound off that loss against South Carolina. Kentucky's just sad. Kentucky's the worst team in the SEC by far. I'm gonna go Georgia 42, Kentucky 20. Middle Tennessee at Mississippi State. Mississippi State should blow out Tennessee State. I'm gonna say Mississippi State 35, Middle Tennessee State 7. North Carolina at Duke. I'll say North Carolina. I think North Carolina should blow out Duke. I'm gonna say North Carolina 35, Duke 14. Florida State at Miami. It'll be fun to see how many fans Miami actually gets in this game. I don't think it'll be that many. But Florida State, they're still a good team. Probably the best team in the ACC, really. Miami, I think, is still undefeated, or were undefeated going into last week's game and lost by 4 points against North Carolina. Now they're 3-1 in the ACC. I'll go Florida State just because Florida State's defense, I think, will stop Miami too many times. Stephen Morris is hurt. I'm not sure if he's going to be out for this game, but either way, I'll still say Florida State. I'll say Florida State should score over 40 against Miami, but I think Miami will score about 21. So I'll say Florida State 44, Miami 21. Baylor at Texas. I'm gonna go Baylor in this game. Texas is defense is not great, and their defense is really beat up. So coming off that loss, they'll be down. Baylor should win this game. I'll say 33 to 28 over Texas. Penn State at Iowa. Penn State's they're improving. Iowa they're a team that can either come out and lose to Central Michigan, or they're a team that can come out and beat Michigan State. You never know with Iowa. They do have a really good running back. I think he's a walk-on. Not really sure on that, but I think he walked on the team as a fullback, and now he's the starting running back. He's putting up great numbers. But Penn State, I don't know what's gotten to them. They're just playing a lot better than I thought they were. So I'm gonna go Penn State. Low scoring game. I'm gonna say 17 to 14 Penn State. Washington at Arizona. I'll go Washington in this game. Keith Price will put up some points against that Arizona defense. That 3-3-5 scheme brought in by Rich Rodriguez is bound to give up some points here and there. They are 99th in the country, giving up 33 points a game. So let's go. Go Washington 38, Arizona 30. Arizona has a good offense now. They're like 5th in the country, I think, in passing yards per game, which is kind of odd because you see Rich Rodriguez's offense usually running the ball more, but whatever works. And the last game, Utah at number 8, Oregon State. This will be a scare in Corvallis, but with this game being a night game, Oregon State having all the momentum in the world, sitting at number 8 in the BCS poll right now. They're a title contender. They really are. And they have Utah this week. Utah's not going to let up easy. And I'll be honest with you, if this game's at Utah, I think Utah edges out Oregon State and wins this game. But I'm going to go Oregon State. Really, really close in Corvallis, being a night game. I'm going to say 24 to 21 Oregon State. Oregon State has a really tough schedule right now, going out with a last few games of the year. Got Washington, Arizona State, Stanford, Cal, Oregon, then they have Nicholls State. So it'll be fun to see if Oregon State can match up against teams like that. It'll be really cool if Oregon State could go undefeated going into that Oregon game. I'm not sure if that'll happen, but we'll see. So I say Oregon State 24, Washington. Washington. Wait, hold on. Utah. Sorry, not Washington. Utah. Utah 21, Oregon State 24, and Oregon State remains undefeated and goes to 6-0. And yeah, so that's been my Week 8 predictions. Hope you guys enjoyed. Be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys for watching, and as always, roll tide and go Sox and go Titans. I'll see you guys later.